Hello, fellow parents and educators. Thank you for joining me at Education Evolution, where we are disrupting the status quo in today's learning models. We talk about present-day education, what's broken, who's fixing it, and how. I'm Dr. Maureen O'Shaughnessy, your host and founder of Education Evolution and the Microschool Coalition, where we are fiercely committed to changing the narrative, to reimagining the education landscape and creating learning that serves all children and prepares them to thrive. If you are new, welcome to the podcast. Please subscribe on our website to get it delivered to your inbox weekly. If you've been around a while, have you left a review? Hello, Education Evolution listeners. Today's podcast is short. I want you to have time to look at the great resources in the show notes and also to just breathe and reflect the many things you have to be grateful for in your life. Let's get started. Thanksgiving will look different this year. Traditions are being shattered in 2020, and new realities are emerging. Thanksgiving is no exception. Canadian post-Thanksgiving COVID statistics jumped, reminding us that sadly, the pandemic isn't taking a break over Thanksgiving, and we don't want to endanger loved ones taking our masks off and eating in large family gatherings. Our school history books tell the Thanksgiving story as one of happy and mutual sharing between European pilgrims and the Native American inhabitants of North America. We now know otherwise. There's more in the show notes on this topic and the importance of Indigenous peoples' land acknowledgement. Also, unemployment numbers are high and money for splurging on feasts is low. So this is definitely not our typical Thanksgiving. Wonderfully, the message of Thanksgiving remains intact. School leaders, educators, and parents can emphasize the meaning of Thanksgiving this year, modeling and encouraging our children to do the same. Thanksgiving is the perfect time to make gratitude a priority in our homes and schools. As a famous quote from a Jesuit priest states, "It is not joy that makes us grateful, but gratitude that makes us joyful." Let's increase the joy and gratitude in our lives. The ideas of sharing with others and expressing gratitude are timeless and much needed this Thanksgiving and moving forward. 4 ways we can do this. The first way is to practice gratitude. Filling ourselves with reasons to be happy is an inside job, and we need positivity to heal our fractured, pandemic-ridden country and world. Brené Brown has a wonderful interview that shares her studies which connects joy and gratitude. After over a decade of research, she found not that joyful people are grateful, but that practicing gratitude invites joy into our lives. These tangible and deliberate practices included writing every morning in a daily gratitude journal or writing at 1234, which is 1234, saying aloud what we are grateful for. There were lots of ideas. Listen and read more in the show notes. There are also apps that remind us to practice gratitude daily. In the show notes, I've included a positive psychology article loaded with information on how gratitude can heal us and the neuroscience behind it. There's also a podcast with Stephen Kotler, my favorite peak performance expert, on how gratitude boosts our creativity and peak performance. Can you tell that this is a topic that really captivates me? The second way to practice gratitude is to take responsibility for the thoughts and messages we let enter our brains. We can uplift ourselves into gratitude and joy by finding the good and the glass half full mindset top priorities. Warning, this may mean smaller doses of social media rants. Years ago, I became aware that the news really upset me. I boycotted the daily news for a decade. Now I get a national and local summary in my inbox and listen a little to NPR. That's plenty for me to feel informed, but not bogged down. Instead, I fill up my spare headspace with positives. I listen to podcasts that inform or make me hopeful. A few of my favorites are Brené Brown's, Michelle Obama's, and Jan Phillips. All in the show notes. I've been able to hear both Brené and Jan when they spoke in Seattle. Jan is an amazing artist, poet, activist, award-winning author, founder of the Loving Kindness Foundation, and former nun on fire to tap into creativity and good in life. She constantly reframes the world for me in positive ways. I also get her weekly doses of hope and inspiration in her Sunday e-newsletter. Also, on Saturdays, I receive CNN's email newsletter of The Good Stuff. The inspiring stories of the humble and impactful good people are doing in the world reminds me of all I have to be thankful for. A third way? Consider sharing more. Maybe this includes leaving a larger tip when you receive a service or meal, or finding a way to practice a random act of kindness each day, which was one of the favorite activities I employed both as a mom and an elementary teacher. From opening doors for others to making peanut butter pine cone bird feeders, sharing was a rich part of my girls' and students' formative years. I know the times I have been the benefactor of another's kindness have left me moved and grateful. Finally, we can all work to listen fully and seek first to understand. This is a tough one for me. I'm really working hard to listen fully and pause before responding. My brain loves to zip ahead and solve all problems before it even hears a complete sentence. Just ask my husband. But I know when I give my full attention and just listen, I'm giving one of the deepest human gifts of seeing, hearing, and valuing another person. So I keep working on being a better listener. With our divided country, it would be easy to dig in on our political positions right now. But instead, we can use this. We can listen fully, seek to understand, and remember we all want a bright future for our country and children. Yes, this is a very painful time. Growing up and assuming new responsibilities always is. We are responsible for our health and keeping others healthy. Our biases and racism is another source of pain, an area needing healing and growth right now. Next week, our guest is Scotty Nash of the ADL and No Place for Hate Schools. She has thoughtful and profound ideas on addressing our bias with empathy. And we need to be responsible for healing our country and planet. A lot to take on. My magic wand? That we strive to be forces for good and positive change, to unify and heal our world. What a perfect time to instill a practice of gratitude to help us shine brightly in these uncertain times. I know how challenging it is to make changes inside your own school or community. I've spent years working with schools around the world on creating learner-centered programs, and it always struck me how much schools were able to get done with the right tools and guidance. If you're ready to make changes like this in your own school, let's talk and put together an action plan. Visit educationevolution.org/consult for a free 15-minute call, and let's see if we're a good fit for more work together. Education Evolution listeners, you are the ones to ensure we create classrooms where each student is seen, heard, valued, and thriving. We need you. Let's go out and reach every student today. I'd be so grateful if you'd head over to your podcast app to give a great rating and review if you found this episode valuable. Don't wait. Please do it right now before you forget. I really appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Signing off, I am Maureen O'Shaughnessy, your partner in boldly reimagining education.